This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, number one podcast in Oakland, the number one podcast in the Bay Area. And today we have a special guest like we always have. This is one of the, I will say flyest dudes that I know in Oakland. I mean, when it comes to dressing, there's not a lot of niggas in Oakland that I respect. This is one of them. He's a exceptional bartender. He just launched a brand, dopest socks that I've ever seen. And we're going to talk about that and the rest of his life and what he got going on. Please welcome Khalil to the podcast. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How was your day today?
It was, honestly, it was a bit strange. I had a really cool night last night. I worked at my favorite bar in Oakland, Tall Boy. Shout out to Tall Boy. Shout out to Den Stevens and Eric and Zach and Jordan and all those guys and Sonny.
He was on the podcast.
I did see that that Den was on the podcast. And that guy's got a lot of flavor. So I haven't actually watched the episode, but I have to check it out once I leave. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. I worked at Tall Boy last night, so kind of had a late night. And
was it popping first Friday and all?
Well, last night was first Saturday. So
Saturday. I'm
so
all
to be
fucked
perfectly honest, like Tall Boy was probably the least thick that I've seen it on Saturday. Period. So, but you know,
everybody was like Afro rave, probably.
Well, also we had Labor Day weekend last weekend, so. Like, you know, people are a bit partied out. So we have Labor Day weekend and then first Friday and then first Saturday. I feel like, you know, the streets weren't really buzzing like that last night. But, you know.
How does, you don't normally work there, do you?
No, I do not. I am in a bit of a transition of sorts as far as like the bartending situation is concerned. Like I still love service and I love the job. I refuse to do it in a capacity that I don't resonate with. If that makes sense. Like I feel like I was having a conversation with somebody last week and I was talking to her and I was telling her that I am, what I didn't realize, lucky enough to enjoy everything that I do for money. And she communicated that that isn't the norm. And that the vast majority of people, you know, either don't like their jobs, can't wait to leave, etc. And I've tried to set myself up so that everything that I have to spend an inordinate amount of time on, I actually like doing, because then I will pour myself into doing it more. Yeah. And bartending's always been like that for me. It's always been something that, because I have like really aggressive ADHD, and it's one of the forms of employment that I've actually found that allow me to use my ADHD and not it ends up being a help and not a hindrance, if that makes sense.
So are you just like losing interest in bartending?
I think no. To just answer plainly, I love service. I love the craft. I enjoy being in the trenches. What I don't enjoy is poor ownership, poor oversight from city council. Lack of activation at establishments. You know, I don't enjoy when people don't try.
Yeah.
And I can't be associated with establishments that don't try. I think that's like more so the thing, you know? And, you know, I'm going to try not to name any establishments directly, but there are quite a few. Yeah, I know. I'm usually not a, I don't like to throw bags of shit. I would rather let the things that I do in my life speak for me than to speak poorly of someone else based off of things that they've done.
Yeah.
Or haven't done or what have you.
Are you originally from Oakland?
I'm actually originally from Detroit.
Okay.
I've lived in Oakland. Let's see. So I moved to Oakland. Let's see, how old is my daughter? So my daughter just turned 12. And I moved to Oakland about 9 months before she was born. So I'm probably coming up on like 13 years here. I moved here from the East Coast. My ex and I, when she got pregnant, her father was in the Sacramento area. My mother was in the Bay Area. And other members of my immediate family and hers were in this area. We had been visiting the Bay Area for a while, like probably every year for the past 3-4 years. And we really honestly just loved it here. So when she got pregnant, to ensure that we had a good support system for our daughter, we basically quit our jobs within 3 months and moved.
What was growing up in Detroit like for you? Was it like when I think of Detroit, I mean, I've never been to Detroit, but a lot of people think of Detroit as, the 8 Mile movie. Empty houses everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of bandos. A lot less so now. Growing up in Detroit, I would say it's kind of an anomaly of a city. I was really into photography when I was a youth, and I have one photo that I took of this freeway that I passed every day to go to school, and there was a house that was just like a regular house, and next to that house was a house that was slightly like decrepit. And then next to that slightly decrepit house was a house that was fully burned down. And next to that fully burned down house was a church. And that's like my example of visually like what Detroit looked like growing up. The other thing that I'll say about Detroit is I think that some of the people in Detroit are probably some of the most aggressive people that I've ever met in my life. Like it's one of those cities that you kind of get reminded where you are very quickly.
Yeah.
I remember on a recent trip back, I was staying at the Westin. They have like a Cadillac Westin downtown. And I was downstairs like buying like candy at like 9 o'clock in the morning at the corner store. And there was someone in line in front of me and they turned around. This is like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I have on like, my dun-dun-duns basically. They turn around, look at me and say, step back. I kill motherfuckers for less.
Damn.
And, I know where I'm at. So I take 2 steps back and, wait in line to purchase my candy, So that's the city. And honestly, like, I'm not shitting on Detroit. I love Detroit. I mean, downtown Detroit right now makes downtown Oakland look like a laughing stock, to be perfectly honest, because the city has definitely gone through a transformational change that I hope and pray that Oakland has the ability to go through. Because honestly, the city of Oakland, it really does need a lot of help. In the activation space, I would say first and foremost. But hopefully that was a relatively thorough answer to the question. I'm, not even how was growing up in Detroit like? Yeah.
Your family, what was your family? Did you have a 2-parent household?
I didn't grow up in a 2-parent household. My parents were together when I was young, and they split up. I want to say around the time that I was like middle school years, like in that like elementary, middle school area. So at the time that my parents split, totally, I believe my sisters and I, my two younger sisters and I, moved to VA with my mom, and my dad moved to Minnesota. And then I moved to the Boston area, North Cambridge, as a matter of fact, with my mom and my two sisters, because my mother was teaching at Harvard at the time, and I had left living with my mom to go live with my dad around like before the start of the 8th grade. So that's like essentially when I moved back to Detroit, although I was born in Michigan. Like I moved back to Detroit proper, like right before the start of the 8th grade. And I guess the majority of people that look like us that I like came up with, a lot of them identify like the place that you went to like grade school as the place that you're from.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true in your circles.
Yeah, but I think of where you're from. Well, I base it on like where did you spend the majority of your life? Like you could be born somewhere, but if you spent like if you were born in like New York, but you left at like 6 and then came to California, and now you're like 40 or something, right? You spent the majority of your life here. So can you really say you're from there?
From Detroit?
No, from like New York. I'm just giving you an example. Like if you were born in New York,
I hear you.
But you left at like 5 years old and came to California, and now you're 40. You know California. You don't really know New York.
The thing is, like, what I was thinking about more so was like the amount of places that I've lived and the amount of years I've spent in those places. Like, I've spent 13 years here. I spent 10 years living in DC, right? Like, that's half my life. You know, like, and that's 2 different places. So I guess I could say that I'm from like quite a few places, because not only have I lived domestically, I've also lived abroad. Like I've lived in VA, Malaysia, Detroit, North Cambridge. Now I live in Oakland, you know? So
what made you say Detroit when I asked you where you're from?
For me, the identification is formative years, like grade school. So I'm talking like the end of middle through high school. And then like, you know, as a youth, like, you know, spending time in that area.
Yeah.
And then when I think about childhood friends, you know, I fly back to Detroit to see childhood friends, you know, friends that have lived there for their entire lives, that, you know, that I went to middle school with, that I went to high school with, etc. So for me, the identification is like, I guess those like core development years, right? Where you start to become more or less like who you are, you know.
When you came to Oakland, was it like did you find a community quick when you moved here?
I was getting ready to have a baby, so I did not find a community that quickly, and I was commuting for work when I first moved here. I was living in West Oakland when I first moved, but I was commuting for work in Court Madera. So that drive with traffic was like an hour and a half, you know, each way. And then the work was like kind of strenuous. So that coupled with like a very pregnant partner, transitioning into being a father for the first time, I wasn't really able to get my footing that quickly and like build a community, because I was so kind of engulfed in new fatherhood and like managing like how the hell I was going to stop driving 3 hours a day to go to work for, you know, 9 to 10 hours a day, you know? So my time was really extremely limited. It was spent between work and home when I first moved. So
you talk about becoming a father. Were you this was, I mean, you agreed on this, right? Like she was like, she's pregnant, and then you weren't like, oh, it's up to you, or you both were like, yes, let's have the child.
Yeah, so we made a decision to move because we felt like it would be in the best interest of raising our daughter. That was the conversation that we had. The conversation was, okay, we're both living in an area where we have friends, but we don't have any real family.
Yeah.
And we both felt that, to start a family, it was important to have family around, the whole, like, it takes a village, like, concept.
Yeah.
And I think the scenes that we were in, because I was 28 when I had a child. And at that age, even looking back, I still feel like I was, a child,
Yeah.
So the decision really wasn't about having a kid. It was like in what environment we were going to have one. And we just felt like this one was going to be more conducive.
What else frightened you? Did anything else frighten you about, before the child came?
Yes. Time. I think that when something occurs that you are aware is going to materially and fundamentally alter your life, I think what is it that I'm stepping into fear factor definitely plays a major part, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. That was, I guess, the mentally what was going on in my mind, right? Like, and in retrospect, like, I think that was, I don't know, just young me still trying to be young me, not realizing that, like, I'd still be able to do all of the things. I would just have another thing that was more important than all of those things.
Yeah. How did it change you? Fatherhood.
Fatherhood's very humbling. And I have a daughter, so it's equally as humbling, because you're dealing with, the opposite sex. And as a consequence of that, there are going to be a number of things that go on in her life that I am not going to be able to relate to. And that is a kind of strange realization to come to, not just as a man, but as a, like, father protector figure. My daughter, has already had to navigate, like, her menstrual cycle. She's already had to navigate, like, sexual advances. She's already had to navigate, like, a number of things that, like, at that age, I couldn't relate to because I'm not an adolescent, like, female.
When you come across those types of situations, how do you handle it? Like, or do you just, like, pass it on to your mother? I mean, does she come to you about, like, when you say the sexual advances, like, how do you sit your daughter down and explain that? Are you, like, the type of parent that says the truth, the blunt truth, or do you, like, beat around the bush, like, oh, Santa Claus is real type of dad?
So it's interesting because my daughter is, like, really, really aware, but she also, like, so my daughter, she lives in Brooklyn.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So she's lived in Brooklyn since last August. So
she growing up. She gonna grow up fast out there.
A little over a year, and we have her in private school in New York City, and she navigates the city a lot on her own right now. So she takes the train to school. She has boxing after school that she walks herself to. So she's really like, aware not only of, like, her surroundings, her body, herself, etc. So her communication, her sharing with me is generally on her own terms. And she shares what she wants to when she wants to. The thing that I've been trying to do is I've been trying to operate from the standpoint of somebody who is essentially non-judgmental. And this is what her mother does. Her mom's an open door for whatever information comes in. And the reason, and the conversation that her mother and I have had about it, is she wants her daughter, our daughter, to always be able to communicate with us about things, because, and issues generally, like, big issues usually come when your kids won't talk to you.
Yeah.
So ensuring that there's an open door policy was essential for us so that if there is ever a real issue, we know about it, you know? And I guess that I would say that communication is key to any situation in life, like being viable and workable. So,
so you guys are not together?
No. We haven't been together since she was 3.
Okay. Do you regret that?
Do I regret what?
I mean, what I'm saying is, when you were growing up, you stated that your father was not in the household, correct? Or he left at a certain time?
My father and my mother were together and then they split. My mother took full custody of the children and my father would visit like once a year.
Basically, what I'm asking is, do you wish that you and the mother of your child were together raising your daughter under one roof?
I don't wish that we were together. We are still raising our child together. Every decision that we've made post the decision for us to split was made. Those decisions are made with the best interest of our daughter in mind. One of the things, so obviously we were both living together here in Oakland. And then when we split, originally she moved to St. Luis Obispo. So there was distance between like the time that I was able to see my daughter and when she was very young. The decision for her to move to San Luis Obispo was based on a work situation. And we both had a communication, multiple conversations about that before deciding it was the best decision for everybody involved. Same thing with my daughter's move to New York, right? Like that was a decision that we had been talking about and planning for over a year. So one of the things that I've been lucky enough to be able to do is co-parent with somebody who I have a tremendous amount of respect for and like adoration and admiration for. My ex is very, very conscientious about ensuring that I have a relationship with my daughter. She has a relationship with my daughter. We both have a relationship with our daughter. So even after we broke up, we would still do things together as a family. And that was, so that my daughter had the example of what two grown people raising a child look like. And the fact that she had the ability to look and see that two people who were not together had the ability to do that in a healthy way. So I think that was our number one concern. And in addition to that, we realized that we couldn't do it in the way that we wanted to do it if we were together. So the decision to split up, honestly, was in the best interest of raising our child together.
Do you want more kids?
I would like to have one more child. Yes. I'd like to have one more child.
Let's talk about after you left, after you finished high school. Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Howard University. Shout out HU.
Okay.
Shout out my HU alum. Yeah.
When did you go there? What years?
So 2004, 2008.
Did you know a girl named Sommer?
Who?
Sommer.
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. Well, I interviewed this chick from she lives in DC.
Maybe by face.
And she went to Howard too. But anyway, how was your college experience?
My college experience, my Black college experience taught me a lot about how operating in actual life works. Because Howard, as a institution, operates in a lot of ways just like the world does. It's about who you know, not what you know. And I had to learn that very, very quickly. And I give you an example from my college experience, right? So the administration building was a building that it was equal parts sort of saint and sinner for people. They went to get cleared for classes, to ensure that they had their balances paid, to talk to people, to ensure that they were put in the right classes. And it operates kind of like the DMV operates. So everybody knows how the DMV operates in the United States. It's hella dysfunctional. Takes a long time to get very simple stuff done. That's how the School of that's how the administration building at Howard was when I went there. And I found myself every semester, because I'm poor, like I grew up in Detroit. Anyway, I had an issue with my balance every semester. And if your balance wasn't cleared, you weren't allowed to sign up for classes. So there was always a little bit of hustle and bustle towards the end of the semester to try to get things. I had an excellent GPA, and my brother at the time was going to law school at Temple. Our president at the time, H. Patrick Swagger, shout out to Swagger. I don't know where he is now or what he's doing, but he was a hell of a school head. He also graduated from Temple, the same school as my brother. My brother and the president of Howard University met at a sort of a Temple alumni function. And my brother spoke to the president on my behalf. Now, to put people in a framework, right? The president then set up a meeting with me when he got back to Howard. The president of Howard University at the time that I was a student did not meet with freshmen. And when I say he didn't meet with freshmen, I mean he didn't meet with freshmen. He was somebody who had an assistant who managed his time, Rolodex, etc. Right? He wasn't meeting with students. Anyway, he met with me. I was still, or was I a freshman? I might have been a sophomore. Anyway, doesn't matter. He met with me. We had a meeting for about 5 minutes. I talked to him about my GPA, talked to him about my brother, and then he thanked me for the meeting, looked at his watch, did one of these, and then left. His assistant, and let me stop saying his assistant, because this was his administrative head, Denise Moore, called me into her office. She picked up the telephone and she said, "I need some money for a student." And then 10 seconds later, she put the phone down and she said, "Your balance is paid. Come see me next semester."
Oh, wow.
And that's literally how I got through the next 2 years at Howard.
Just kept going back. Oh, yeah, I need some more money. That's good.
Well, it was a communication of it's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
That meeting was able to happen because of my brother, right? Granted, I had at least a 3.5 GPA at that time. So, my grades were great. And that was the thing that the president actually said to me in the meeting. He was like, "You have a 3 point whatever it is, and you don't have any money for school?" And I was like, "No, not yet, but that meeting, without it, I don't know that I would have graduated college, but it just lets you know, to not give up, because there's somebody that has the ability to make your situation better.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out who they are and do the thing you need to do. So that's generally how I approach situations now. I try to figure out who it is that I need to talk to, or make a relationship with, to do the thing that I'm trying to do. And I think that where I've gotten good is I also now have the ability to do something for the person on the side that's helping me. So I see it as this kind of mutually beneficial human connection situation.
What do you think is more important, transactional relationships or relationships that are genuine?
I think it depends on what you value. So for me, I think human connection is something that I value very highly because I think looking back on my life, the things that I'm going to think about are the memories that I've shared with people. I'm not going to think about transactions. And granted, like, I think there's a time and a place for transactions, right? Like, I want my coffee and I don't necessarily want to have to like have a 5-minute conversation with somebody before I get it in the morning. But if that's the cost of me getting my coffee, then who am I to say that I'm not going to speak to this human that wants to speak to me, you know? So I think transactions have a time and place in society as well. I mean, I pay a toll every time I go over the bridge, you know, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything to me in the long scheme of things as far as my life is concerned. The moments that I share with people mean a lot to me, though. That's why, like, I think time is probably the commodity that I would say I value the most. This is the only one we don't have the ability to get back. Money, I can lose it, gain it again. You know, anything that I can think of, I have the ability to get a second shot at, except for time. You know, the moments that we're spending right now on this interview, they're literally the last time like this in my life, right? Like, this time expires and we move on to new time, right? We can't go back.
Yeah.
And I think approaching life like that has allowed me to practice the spirit of, unless it's an absolute yes, the answer is no. You know? And a lot of people don't understand that no is a boundary for yourself so that you have the ability to say yes to what you truly want to. Because if you say yes to something, you have to say no to every single other thing that occupies that space and time. So your yeses set up a lot of no's, you know? So I try to wake up knowing what my yeses are, you know? And my yeses are definitely like to human connection. And you know, I understand that I also am somebody that needs to do transactions, but I don't want my life to be transactional.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered, this is just random, but have you ever wondered, like, time, when time was created, how did we know what time was the time?
I think...
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, when time was created, how did we know that, okay, I'm creating time, it's now 6 o'clock? And then that's when the clock started.
I think if we speed everything up, we see that things have the ability to change around us, even if we don't do anything, right? So you think about the concept of seasons, which obviously we don't get here in the Bay Area.
But you get it just in one day.
But for the majority of us in like actual life, we realize that like there is a time where like the leaves fall off the trees.
Yeah.
There's a time where the leaves come back. There's a time where they're bright, where they're green. There's a time where they turn brown and orange. You know, we don't have to do anything, but time exists whether or not we like it or not. Yeah. Just like I have gray hairs in my beard now. I used to not have gray hairs in my beard. Did I have to do anything to get these gray hairs? No, I didn't. All I had to do was let time do its thing. So I think about time as a constant. And something that's a constant, I don't think about it in terms of its creation. And I guess the reason why is because like I don't think of like things like God in their creation, right? Like it just exists, you know? And I have to operate within the confines of it because I'm not whoever Jonathan Majors was playing in the MCU.
I forgot what that nigga was playing.
Kang.
Yeah, Kang. I was about to say Dr. Doom. But what did you study in college?
Marketing.
And why did you choose that?
School of Business was highly rated, which isn't a good reason to choose anything, I believe, at this point in my life. There is also like the structure aspect of it. As a freshman at Howard University, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you had to wear a suit to school.
Everyone?
Everybody in the school would be. Yeah, and in addition to that, there are a number of very practical things that they did, like for first years, like learning how to write a resume, like in the correct, like structural, like business spacing, typeface, font size, all of that. Those things don't really matter anymore because I'm old and like nobody cares about that shit.
I don't even remember where I wrote in cursive. That shit was so long ago.
But I think the decision to go to business school was more about practicality than it was about like knowing what I wanted to do at the time. In retrospect, I probably would have been in the School of Communications and studied something like design or something of that sort. And it's because I identify as more of a creative and less as a like sort of like structured like business person. But I thought that the School of B was the best setup for me to have a viable, like kind of like lucrative employment when I graduated. So that's what I would say, like the reason why I picked that major. Yeah, it's interesting because like I watch like strange programs sometimes. Like I was watching this program about this cat that he like finds like wild rabbit species and like re-releases them into the like wild so that they can like populate and like grow. And I'm like, this nigga's parents told him he could do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. And that's exactly what he decided to do. And I was identifying like what it would take to be able to have that kind of privilege in life. Because most of us have to do things for money. That's why this conversation about transaction versus whatever the other thing is so interesting. Because we have like these things, right? Responsibilities, bills. I mean, my daughter's private school tuition to middle school costs more than my private school tuition to college. I mean, that's a communication of where we are, right? Like as far as the cost of living is concerned, inflation, and all these other things. And these things require us to approach the world in certain ways because we have to is a weird phrase, but if we want to have a fruitful life, quote unquote, we have to do X, Y, Z. And that requires us to like earn, that requires us to do, X, Y, Z. What I will say about that is I find that a lot of people, they do the thing like work or earn, and then they don't do anything else because they feel like they need to put all of their emphasis on, growing, right? Like ensuring that their family's in the best school, ensuring that they're doing well at their job. And I think a lot of people, they forget that there's like so much life to be lived, like in between all of that too. The thing that I've been trying really, really hard, and now that I'm in a bit of a transition because I went from bartending being the majority, bartending being the main way that I used to earn money to survive, to now it is an aspect of the amount of money that I generate for survival. And because I've made that small transition, I see the possibilities for generating like passive income. And I realize that like all of these things, all of these little ventures require me to like give like space and time, right? Like I'm just getting this this company that I started in 2020 to the next like phase like now. And it was something that was profitable for me within 3 months. But now that I've like kind of started this like other wing, and I'm talking about my my e-commerce business, Colours, right now, which is essentially like a socks and accessories business.
Wait. We'll get into the business in a minute. I want to stay on a certain phase of your life. which is the college era. Going to Howard, why do you feel a lot of Black people choose not to go to Black institutions?
Why do I feel a lot of Black people don't choose to go to Black institutions?
Yes.
I don't. I mean, I feel like a lot of Black people do go to Black institutions. That's why they're filled with Black people from all over the world. I mean, my experience at Howard was, and I'm from a majority Black city. Like, I just want to identify that, right? Like, I live in Oakland now, and I'm from Detroit. And when I grew up in Detroit, Detroit was majority a Black city. So I chose to go to a majority Black college because I wanted to be around people that look like me, because I realized that it might be the last time in my life that I was able to choose to do something like that, right? Like, it's a rarity to be able to be around people that look like you when you're in the minority, right? In your everyday life. And take that, like that piece about Howard and the looking like me piece and expand it, right? Like, it's not just people that look like me. Cause like, I got there, it was people from Cali. First time they saw snow, they're doing snow angels outside. I think it's funny because they don't understand that they're going to get frostbite. And I'm from Detroit. I know that. I'm also dealing with people from the West Indies who it's 65 degrees outside. And they're like, why is it so cold? You know? So like, I had a diverse like amalgamation of like Black people like at Howard that all chose to go there. And I feel like your question is sort of, it's posturing the why do some Black people choose not to go to HBCUs?
Do you think the average person, Black man or woman, if they had a choice between Howard, well, let's say they wanted to major in business, if they had the choice to go to either Howard or Cal, do you think that average Black person would choose Howard?
I don't know specifically because I don't know anything about the business school at Cal. What I will say is my brother went to Wharton, which to the people that know business schools, Wharton is in the University of Pennsylvania, and it is the top rated business school in the country. So let's put that there, right? Like, let's say like if somebody had the choice to go to Wharton or Howard, right? Like a Black person, myself, right? In my mind right now, as a 40-year-old Black man, I would say Wharton. And the reason, is because of prestige, right? Like, that's why people choose to go to a lot of these institutions. It's either because of programming or prestige. As a youth, I feel like the only knowledge you have, the only awareness, unless you've done your diligence as a youth, and I'm not saying that like, you know, there aren't youth that have, you pick prestige over, you know, over the other thing. And it's because you think ultimately it'll be better for you. I chose Howard University because I went on a college tour and I saw multiple colleges, and Howard was a place that I resonated with the most because I found the people that handled us when we got there were the most kind. Again, like, I value human connection over transactional connection anyway. So for me, the decision was easy because I resonated with the people. So, and it's easy for me to resonate with a place because a place is nothing without the people that make up, you know, the place, which is why I love Oakland so much.
Were you always into fashion?
I've always been like into style. Fashion is a, you know, multi-billion-dollar business. It comes with labels, etc. Right? Like, I knew I was going to be on a podcast today, and I knew that there was going to be like a video aspect of it. And I was thinking about wearing a shirt that I had on last night. But then I was like, wait, if I wear the shirt that I had on last night, then I'm going to have that shirt on 2 days in a row. And there's going to be 2 recordings of me wearing the t-shirt. And since it's identifiable t-shirt, I'm not going to be able to wear it out, you know, as frequently as I would want if it gets showcased in that way on multiple occasions. At least that's the way my mind is working. So I decided to opt for one of my favorite shirts, but I could wear it tomorrow and nobody would know what it is because it's plain.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, style is about the way that you put yourself together. Fashion is a business. Fashion is an industry. Fashion comes with labels. Fashion comes with all of these things that I don't feel like are necessarily fashionable, right? Like the label thing is the main thing, right? Like people wearing other people's names all over their body, but like
I hate that.
not supporting like their friends, you know, local, like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's like kind of crazy because you're a walking advertisement for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I try, and this is the thing that I've been trying to be very conscientious about right now, is when I see somebody I know that's doing something that I think is cool or is trying to do something that I think is cool, and I know them, like I try to support them in some way, shape, or form, whether it's reposting or showing up to their event or putting them in touch with people that can help make their event better, right? Like, if I can name some people right now, right? So we're on this podcast, so it's good to shout out people. So my homegirl, Hadia, she goes as Fairy Glow Mother, right? She's a esthetician. She's been doing this event at 51 and Tell, R&B Trivia. And the event, before she started doing it, had like 3-4 people at it. Now she has a joint packed. And it's Black people. They're beautiful.
I love it.
So I showed up to the event and was just like, I want to help you with your event. Like, I don't want to get paid. I don't want acknowledgement. I don't want any kudos, right? Like, all I want is to help my friend make her event that's already successful more successful. And the reason is because, like, I fuck with her, right? Just like my homegirl, Alicia, who used to work at Hello Stranger. I actually took her spot at Hello Stranger, so I'm working at Hello Stranger now. I don't tell nobody.
This nigga works everywhere. God damn.
What do you call it? Her Instagram handle is AHMC, and she's like a house DJ. And she did this event last weekend at High Five, and it was dope because you've got Black people, Filipino, Latino, and they're all vibing and listening to music that you can't really hear in a lot of places in the Bay. That's one of the things about me, right? Like, I want to hear everything. That's one of the reasons why I like going to Tall Boy. Because you can see everything there and you can hear everything there. You hear all types of music. You see all types of people from behind the bar to on the other side of the bar. Diversity and inclusion are really, really essential to me. And supporting the people that I know, for me, is the easiest way to get there.
Yeah, Tall Boy to me reminds me of old school Starline back in the day. Because when you walk in there, you'll see everybody, and everybody's stylish. Everybody's attractive in their own ways. Bartenders are cool. So, and that's what I told him that.
Starline was a time, man. Like, it was a time. Like, I remember, like, destroying a lot of brain cells in that building, and I remember making a lot of kindred connections in that building, you know? And yes, like, Tall Boy is really the it spot. And the reason, though, remains true, right? It's the human aspect of it. When you are in that building and dealing with people that work there and even people that hang out there, they're really about building, and not building in a superficial, like, I want to be seen way because I have on a rude t-shirt. You know, it's like, oh, like, you want to have an event here. Let me help you out. Like, for instance, like, I want to say, I lost my train of thought, but when it comes back up, we'll.
All right, let's fashion. We were talking about fashion. Do you believe we are represented enough in that industry?
So here's the thing, right? I feel like Black people are the most copied, sort of imitated people, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like fashion representation is concerned, I can't speak to whether or not I truly feel like we are depicted or represented enough. I just personally know people that are in trailblazing positions in fashion right now, and who, if you know people in the industry, are like, oh, like it's this person and then this person. And, it's also easy for me to name names with respect to stuff like that because I went to school with the majority of these people, right? So, for instance, like, you know who Jerry Lorenzo is, right? You know that name, correct? Right? So it's like a lot of people who aren't into fashion don't know the name Jerry Lorenzo, but they might know the name Fear of God, right? Because brands get popular because they build themselves up. So Jerry Lorenzo is the head of a fashion line called Fear of God, for everybody that doesn't know. And he's the number one guy at Fear of God. My buddy, who I went to college with, LaRon Howard, is basically the number two guy at Fear of God, right? Like, it's, you see Jerry, and then you see somebody that I went to school with named LaRon. And LaRon's worked all over the fashion industry, right? So this is one name. I got another name, right? And the people that I'm naming are people of color, and they do things that are seen worldwide. My other buddy, his name is Joshua Simmons. And Yash, also a fashion guy. If you look at his Instagram profile, he has done editorials for Vogue, New York Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, and Wall Street Journal. He's the personal stylist for artists like Giveon, Brett Fayez. Like, he is, he's a trailblazer, and he's a Black man who is responsible for, I don't know if you could see it, but like, these are like all the covers that he's responsible for styling, all of the celebrities that he's associated with, right? These are Black people in the industry. I'll give you one more name. And this guy is, if I hate to say like picking favorites, but this person is just a awesome person, bar none. His name is Kevin. Kevin McIntosh.
Oh, okay.
He owns a fashion PR company. He actually helped me out with my business before it had even got started, ensured that my product was put in the hands of people that actually had the ability to make a difference to my brand. He's the reason why I've been featured in magazines, from Vanity Fair to the New York Post. And also, this is a guy who, at one point, Virgil Abloh said, "One day I'm going to be working for you." So these are people that I know personally that work in fashion, that do things on a worldwide scale. And I think they are ensuring that we have adequate representation. So that's based on my knowledge of what these folks are doing in the industry. Granted, like, I imagine we're still a minority, but I think we're probably ringing some bells at this point, at the very least.
Well, let's talk about your your line Colors. So two questions. Why socks specifically? Well, I don't know if it's just socks or not, but that's what caught my attention. Why socks, and explain the name.
Okay, so during, or like right before COVID, I was like actually dyeing dry fits. And for those of you that don't know what dry fits are, they're socks from a company called Nike that are supposed to be like sweat resistant. It's really all bullshit. Anyway, I was dyeing dry fits to go with different like outfits that I was personally wearing. And people would keep complimenting me on my socks, and they would continuously ask me where I got them. Fast or rewind 2020, COVID happens and I get furloughed. So I am working in the bar scene. I am making good money. I have, for all intents and purposes, what I identify as a good life. And then in 1 week, I go from being gainfully employed and working to being furloughed. And if anybody went through the process during like COVID of like filing for unemployment, they know that there was a pretty long wait. So a lot of people were waiting for a long time without getting any money. I started Colours during COVID because I got furloughed. I decided to start a business with socks specifically because it was a product that people had already seen me in, that they liked. And here's the transactional business side of it, because I did go to business school. Socks have very low margins. So I was able to buy, right, a pair of socks for however much money, right? Let's say $2. Then I was able to turn around and at the time sell them for 10. And I was like, well, that's 5x. That's a pretty good return on my money. So for a very small investment initially during COVID, I was able to go from operating in the red to in the green in 3 months, which I talked to a lot of people that own a lot of businesses, including my mentor. And he's like, a 3-month turnaround to be in the green is unheard of for a business. But I was able to do that because I had low margin and I started selling almost immediately. The thing now is not to do just socks. Like I want to like venture into the accessory space as well. But there is just such a large market for socks because the majority of people wear them. And there isn't a lot of limitations on what you have the ability to do. And the margins are still just low. So if I'm able to get a product for, let's say if I purchase something in bulk, and this is just the business side of my mind talking, and everything that goes into this product from the packaging, the shipping, etc., costs me like $4 a unit. And then I'm able to take that unit and I'm able to sell it for 20. I've just 5x my money. And I'm able to 5x my money, and I'm able to do it and provide people with a product that I believe in, that I think is good, that I think is a cool product, that I also don't think is that expensive. Why not? So that was a reason for socks. It was a financial decision,
And the name, what made you come up with the name?
So in the early 2000s, there was a rap group started by Farnsworth Bentley, Pharrell Williams, and Andre 3000. The connoisseurs will know they call themselves the cool, outrageous lovers of uniquely raw style. Colours. COLOURS. Cool, outrageous lovers of uniquely raw style. So that's where the name comes from.
Okay. Dope.
And I actually also brought you a pair.
Right, yeah, I was going to ask for those.
Yeah, these are for you. I didn't know what kind of colors you like, so I went like a little bit more neutral. So you can see that like the word Colours, the company name, is embroidered on the ankle of the sock. So if you wear, and I have a pair on now, these are.
Thank you.
Yeah, I went with something neutral because I thought it would be like better. Also, you've got a little like a fun little message on each of the toe boxes for the socks that I'll, you can take it out now or you can take a look at it later. But so those are like the slouch socks that I just dropped, and they're available in 20 colors. And they are the most comfortable socks that I've ever worn in my life. The elasticity on them is amazing, and they reshape after you wash and dry them. So they're a dope product.
As a business owner, a lot of people have ideas, right? And they want to start a business, and then when they start a business, they find out, oh shit, I got to do this. I didn't know about. I got to do this. I didn't know about. What are some of the things that when you launched Colors that you found out that you didn't know initially?
I think like, and this is the thing that I'm working on right now, finding a brand voice. For content strategy.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by brand voice?
Well, so you look at these companies, and you kind of have an association with these companies based on a number of different things. With like Tiffany, you think about a certain color, greenish blue, right?
Okay.
You think of a certain level of
like McDonald's
luxury, right?
Okay.
Like with like Ralph Lauren, you think of a certain level of like regal, like Americana fashion, right? So there's a voice that these companies, that these brands have, that they've taken the time to build up over time. And that's the thing that I honestly am having trouble with respect to my own brand.
When you were in school, did you learn about, and I don't know, like the details is very vague, but I remember learning about how businesses use colors to attract people, and like when you see a lot of like fast food, for example,
uses the colors
red,
orange and red.
Yeah, they use a lot of red, and red does something to the psyche when you walk in.
Yeah, it causes you to be more hungry.
Yeah. You learned about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why I brought that up is your logo. Is this always going to be the logo? Like, is the C, like Google, they always use those colors. Like, is the C always going to be this color, the O, or do these?
Oh, that it gets mixed up.
Oh, okay.
A lot. Yeah. And I think that is also just like, so it gets mixed up a lot on other things. Like on the branding materials, I'm pretty sure like it looks like pretty much just like that, because I had someone design that, and I had them basically send me the designs so that I could print them on various like different kinds of media in that capacity. So that was the new logo that got designed this year, as a matter of fact.
What do you think people should know about just business in general, like starting a business? Like, what do you think is the most important advice you would give someone?
I think when you're working for yourself, the thing that people don't think about is the fact that they feel if they were to start their own business, they have the ability to pick their own hours and then like yada, yada, yada. There are no hours, like I might respond to a customer email at 3:00 in the morning, right? Like I might be going out of town and need to finish like processing orders before I go. But, I've got 150 units to do before I like need to hop on a plane in 2 days, right? And I have to do the thing because if I don't, then I don't get paid. And then my reputation gets, kind of dragged.
Yeah.
So the thing that I would tell people with respect to like starting a business is it's hard, and to have help, and to identify the jobs that you are either not good at or that you could benefit having someone else do so that you could spend your time in ways that are more like viable. And I say that to say that like, I do not enjoy doing social media for my company. I enjoy doing things like this because this is about human connection. Like I get to find out about like something that you do. I don't know you that well. So like now we get to know each other better. That builds upon like this like human connection piece that I like. But like having to be on my phone and like do things like for the capacity of social media, granted, I enjoy like putting together different aesthetic things. I just don't enjoy spending my time producing things that I'm going to put on a phone to show people, So that's one of the jobs that I know that when I can afford it, I'm going to pay someone else to do. you know?
When did you realize that help was drastically needed? Like when people start a business, like, oh shit, I'm going to just do everything myself because I don't have the money to pay people, right? And then two, like, I don't think a person is going to care as much as I do about my dream. So when did you, I'm pretty sure when you started this, it was just you. And then when did you realize, like, okay, well, I'm going to have to put my faith into somebody else's hands and allow them to do something?
I don't, I mean, the faith piece, yes, and, right? Like, you find people that are good at what they do, and you find people who are better than you are at doing certain things, and you put them, you allow them to be great. My friend, Eric Jackson, manages my ad spend on, for my business, right? So he manages my, my Meta and Google ad spend.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does it for multi-billion-dollar companies. It's like him managing my ads is equivalent to him managing my ads versus me managing my ads is equivalent to like him making 8 margaritas and in the time that it would take me to make 8 margaritas. I've been working in service behind the stick bartending for 17, 18 years. It's really fast for me to make 8 margaritas.
Yeah.
My friend is not going to be as fast. And him managing my ads, way better than me managing my ads. Michelle Jean, who built my website, amazing designer. Like, I could probably build a website. It would take me like 5 times the amount of time that it took her to do it. And it would look, not even half as good. So identifying jobs that you understand that people are better than you at, and then, allowing them to like do the thing that they're good at so that you can do the thing that you're good at, and granted, it's a bit of a give and take when you're first starting. But you just got to go through that process.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest, obviously, when it comes to business, your word, how on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think that falls in?
I don't understand the question.
So like your word, basically telling someone what you're going to do, or telling someone this will be here on this day, or I will be here on, like, keeping your word. On a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to business, where do you think that falls? How important that is that?
It's a 10. It is the most important thing. I mean, keeping your word is a communication that you are going to do what you say. And you do what you say by doing it, not by saying it. So no one's going to believe you if you don't actually do the work that comes behind your words. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a simple sort of thing,
When was Colours launched again?
So Colours was launched in 2020.
2020.
Yeah, but I just launched. So like over the course of 4 years, I was exclusively hand dyeing like everything myself. I got into selling products that I designed last year. So I would say that this is like, although the business has been operating since 2020, this is the first year of what I would liken to be like real operation as a company, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because dyeing dry fits like out of my garage, like it was never a scalable concept. I could only make as much or do as much as I had the ability to with my own hands or other people's hands. And now that I'm designing products and selling them, like I just have the ability to like do a lot more, with my time, even for my own company, because I'm not doing more with my hands for my own company, right? Or spending more man hours with my hands.
What are you most proud of when it comes to your business?
I spent a lot of time on this product. I spent a lot of time on the slouch socks in particular. And I know like a business is not a product, but sometimes it is, right? Like somebody asked me a question like, oh, like what's my like flagship product or whatever. And I was like, you know, in my mind, I don't have one because I'm still trying to find brand voice, but I spent a lot of time and energy on getting these socks right. And when I think about companies, a lot of them, I have the ability to kind of sort of narrow down to a single product. Like when you think of Coca-Cola, it's one of the biggest companies in the world, but we all know what we're talking about when we're talking about the company Coca-Cola. You're talking about a Coke, you know? So, and I don't know that like I want to be Coca-Cola, right? I don't know that I want to be known so much for like the slouch sock. But I put a lot of time and energy into the slouch sock. And because I know that it's a good product, I know that I have the ability to do another one. So I think time and attention is the thing that I'm the most proud of with respect to my business. Because when I put time and attention on a thing, generally what occurs is I see the benefit with the work that I put in. If I don't, then I don't, you know?
Do you think that since you're so proud of the socks and you focus on the socks, getting them right, do you think you're spending too much time on just the socks instead of like venturing out on other other products?
So it's interesting because this makes me think of like a conversation that like two Apple designers were having, and they were in a meeting when they were trying to figure out what color white they were going to use. And somebody that was in the meeting with them was like, can we like move on and start talking about something that's important? And the two engineers or designers or whatever, they looked at each other and then they realized immediately that this guy wasn't the right fit for the company because he didn't understand that the importance of the color was going to lead to like it resonating with the consumer and like it aligning with the brand voice of the company, et cetera. So we put time, emphasis, attention on products, not just because we want them to resonate with people, but because we want them to be good products, right? Because if they are good products, they will resonate with people. And if we showcase things in a way that we want to be seen, then like, you know, you have people that interact with your products. So the funny thing about what you're saying is I went to business school, right? Marketing in particular. And I had this professor, Michael Smith, and he would always say that that marketing is the sizzle and smoke on the steak, right? The sizzle gets you to buy the steak, right? Like, and you don't buy the steak without the sizzle. So marketing is extremely important, right? That's why like I'm so focused on SEO. That's one of the reasons why like I, you know, had a new website built, like, cause like I understand that like promotion socially, all these things is essential. But if the product's not good, like if the steak is mid, like you might sell 1 million steaks, but you're not going to have any repeat customers. That's one of the things that I already realized about my business. As soon as people, and you're going to hit me too. You're going to hit me and you're going to be like, nigga, you're right. Like these socks are comfortable and they actually they look good. And in addition to that, I washed them and dried them and they look exactly the same. You know, so, and it's just like I've made money on products that I don't believe in because I had the ability to go on this site in China and buy some shit that was already pre-made. And then I got it sent to me and I saw it look like booty. right? But I bought it for $1 a unit, and then I turned around and sold it for 16. But like, I had to associate my name with that. Yeah. So now when people get that product, where there's a patch on it or something, and that embroidery falls apart, like when you put it in the wash because they glued it on, then that's how you associate my name with this like shit product. I don't want to be associated with a shit product. I want to be associated with a product that you know is good, and I want to pull you in with the sizzle, but I want you to enjoy the steak too.
Yeah, I asked that question because I was thinking about Kirkland. You know Kirkland, that brand?
Mm-hmm.
So Kirkland, those motherfuckers make everything from liquor to melt to pants to shoes, everything you could think of. And I'm like, I had my friend gave me a pair of pants and I wear them for like work and shit, right? And within like a month, they started fading, ripping and shit. And I didn't even know Kirkland made clothing. I thought it was just like food and alcohol and shit. So I was like, yo, these people obviously want their hand in every single little thing, but they're not focused on making one product great. They want to like go to all these other, I don't even know how they are able to make every single thing you can think of. But that's the reason why I asked that question. It reminds me of like the Kanye West shit. Like Kanye West, like things that are mass produced are not usually great to me.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have to think about the business strategy, right? So like Kirkland is a Costco brand. And Costco, like, they pretty much like have their pots and everything, like their hands in everything, because they are essentially like a value producer in like bulk groceries. But they also are trying to make themselves a one-stop shop for consumers, which is the reason why they sell alcohol, food, clothing, etc. And they sell a lot of other brands. So they have the ability to appeal to a value shopper by providing the same kind of products across the board in their Costco stores for less of a price. Because you have value shoppers who are looking for a deal, and then you have people that are also looking for quality. Both come to Costco. So it's a smart move for them. And like, honestly, like, I can't say that if that was the sort of business that I was in, I wouldn't do a similar thing, because people aren't looking to Kirkland for quality.
Yeah.
They're looking for a value, right? And that's a different sort of appeal than what I'm trying to go for, right? Like, I'm charging $20 for a pair of socks, which, although it isn't expensive, is not cheap. But when you put the socks on and you interact with them and you're like, oh, I can put these in a Chelsea boot because they're thin enough for a Chelsea boot, but I can also put them in a sneaker. Like I can wear these to the gym, or I can just like wear these out. You're like, oh, I understand, right? Like there was time and attention and detail put into this product, and I am happy, right? Like, so that was one of the other like things, right? Like price point, what people are willing to pay for a thing, and like what value that they get derived from the thing. So I looked at a lot of prices for socks, and like, I saw people that were using like a similar manufacturer as mine, but like their designs weren't hitting like mine were, or this wasn't hitting like mine were, and although their socks might have been a couple of dollars less expensive, I wouldn't have worn them for half the price that they were selling them for, whereas like the socks that I've made, I wear them pretty much every day. And it's not just because it's my product, it's because I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you see, or where do you want the company
I want to produce in more bulk, and I want to expand to accessories first. So like the next thing that I want to do is bandanas. Because I've been on a kind of a bandana kick as of late. And I just like have this thing with being able to showcase style in a way that is apparent, but is not obnoxious and or like off-putting. So like I dyed my hair a few years ago, and that was like a lot of people would say that was like, oh, that was like my like trademark look or whatever. And I stopped dyeing my hair, one, because shit's just bad for your fucking hair. But like now I wear a lot of bandanas. So like bandanas has been like a way for me to like stand out in, you know, social situations. Because if you're in a room of 100 people, then what makes you different?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and a lot of the way that I approach style is about that posturing, right? Like what sets me apart from people in a room, and what sets me apart from people in a room visually first, because the visual thing is going to, it's going to breach into interest, and then interest is going to breach into conversation. And then when you get to that piece, I'm already confident enough that I'm going to be able to, you know, win you over or like, you know, bring you into the fold with who I am. But that first part is the visual part, right? Like you have to see something you're interested in to try to interact with it first, right? So again, like it comes down to this marketing piece. So
I always say the details. That's very, very, very important. Like you can have the same shirt that another person is wearing, but the way you wear it is going to get the attention. That's what I always say. But now I want you to tell the people, like, if you want to give out your socials, tell people where they can find these socks, websites, or whatever you want to. This is your time to shine.
Okay. So, I have a full, like, .com. If you want to check it out. I really, like, want to have people look at the site specifically because I am curious about the interaction with the design. If it looks aesthetically pleasing, if it makes you want to shop, if it makes you want to click off the site. But the website's called colourshop.com. So it's TheColours, and then there's another S, HOP. So thecolourshop.com or colorsockshop.com. I own both .coms. They connect to the same website. I decided to buy multiple domains just in case like people couldn't remember one or the other. So you could use The Color Shop or Color Sock Shop, and color spelled the UK way with a UR. So that's where stuff's sold. You can also find me on IG. I'm also on TikTok under Color Sock Shop. So spelled the same way. COLOUR Sock Shop.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on Everyday Celebrity Podcast. It was nice learning about your life and your upbringing. Socks are amazing. That sparked my interest. That's why I invited you here to learn a little bit more. Everyone, go on his website, support him. Black-owned business. Everyone keeps talking about Black-owned business and how we need to support. I mean, the socks is $20. You spend that at the bar
on a sandwich
on one drink that you don't even need. You know what I'm saying? All you niggas out there, that drink that you're buying, that bitch that ain't gonna go home with you, you can save that and buy some color socks. Once again, do you have any last words?
No, Jordan, I just want to thank you for the interview, to be honest with you. You know, this is definitely a pivot from, you know, my regular like scheduled Sunday.
Great.
And I'm just, you know, really grateful to be here and like excited to get some exposure and like also like happy to be doing something with another like person of color in general. So
dope. Well, yeah, like I said, appreciate you for coming on. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast, and we are out. You.
Celebrity to me, celebrate cause I'm me. You a star, you a star, you a star, believe. Reach like 2-3, 2 of the stars I'll see. Everyday celebrity, I pray to God it's me.